Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. Thank you for joining me for another video in my Stamp Happy Holidays series. Today I have two cards and the focal images on these cards were colored using colored pencils. I haven't used colored pencils in a long time, but as I'm going through my craft room and throwing away some things that I have no idea why I kept, like that empty glue bottle or those kinds of things, I ran across my colored pencils. Now it's not that I didn't know they were on that shelf. I knew that, but they were just kind of buried and I had long ago forgotten about them. So I thought, well, let's give these a try again and see if I remember any techniques that I used to know. I've told you many times I'm not an artist, I'm a card maker, and I do a lot of things through trial and error, which I think that's just my process. But as far as my colored pencils go, I do have some Prismacolor pencils. I have a lot of Crayola colored pencils, and I have some Rosart colored pencils. I have some of another brand that I can't remember the name of, and I even have some that have no markings on them whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure those belong to my grandson, that they came with a kit of some kind. And actually all the pencils except for the Prismacolor ones, I think were probably purchased to be used by my grandchildren. But I use them, and I've gotten some good results because, like I said, I just need them for a little image on a card. I don't need to, do great works of art with them. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. If you have never used colored pencils before and you want to give them a try, I suggest going and buying some Crayola ones or even the Rosart ones just to get the feel for it. Then if you like it, you can go buy some that are, a little, I won't say high end because colored pencils run the gamut in prices, and there are different types. There are some that are oil-based, there are some that are water-soluble, so they're more like a watercolor pencil. Just all kinds, but just the basic color pencil is what I'm talking about today. And you can get, when you color it at first, it might look like something a child has colored in a coloring book, but you can do some blending and get, a really nice, smooth look. Here's the little reindeer. Now this one was colored with the Crayola ones, and this one I colored in with the Rosart ones. I just wanted you to see that you can get a really good look even with inexpensive pencils. And here is a little deer I colored, and I colored it with the No Name brand just to give you a feel for how, it blended so well. I was just really impressed with that. So, how do you blend? You may ask. Well, there are several different ways. So we'll put these cards over here. And I have a little Santa here. And I'm going to use, let's see, I have a whole bunch of just Christmassy colored pencils here. Here is a Crayola red one. And if you're going to use colored pencils, a good thing to have is a pencil sharpener. I just bought this at Walmart. I think I got it for 25 cents when the school supplies were out. And so I'm going to start with the red. Let's just color his pant leg here because it's a bigger surface. We might be able to see it better. And I don't know. I tend to go in little circles. Sometimes I just make horizontal or vertical lines. But I just get the color on. I just concentrate on getting color on the page. Coloring in the area that I want colored. Like I say, I am not an artist. I just, like I say, trial and error, figure out what way best works for me. So we have that color on, and then I'm going to use a little bit, oops, a little bit darker color. This is a Rose Art. It's a maroon color, and I'm just going to kind of go over the red with it. Try to get all the white spaces in. There we go. So now to blend it, there are options. One way is to use a white color pencil and just go over it and blend the colors and smooth out the color and move it around a little bit to take care of any white areas. Another way is to use this colorless blender pencil, and Prisma makes these Prismacolor, and other companies make them too, but it's just like, it's a pencil, and the lead inside, instead of being colored, it's just clear. And I have one of those right here. I have an extender on it because I've used this for a while and sharpened it. These aren't that expensive, and you can buy them in some stores. You can buy them individually online. I think you can buy them in packages of 2 or more. But all you do is you just start going over where you've colored. And it just kind of blends everything together. Just smoothed out some of the lines and blended those 2 colors together. Now let's color his leg in again here. Did I lose my red one? Nope, there it is. And we'll work with something else. Now the advantage to that pencil is it's easy. You can stamp your image in with any ink you want, be it StazOn or an archival ink or Memento, Tuxedo Black, whatever you prefer, because it's not going to interact with any ink. So whatever you want to use to stamp your image, you can use that blender pencil or the white color pencil to blend things. And we'll take a little bit of the maroon. Also, if you don't have a white color pencil, but you have like a lighter color of red, maybe like a poppy or even a dark pink, you can use that as well. And it works. So we have this leg. Now another thing that works is this, and this is an old one. The package, it's still black and white, but I think it has more white maybe now. And this is by Prismacolor, and it's just a colorless blender. If you have a Stampin' Up! Color lifter or a colorless alcohol marker, like a Copic colorless marker, those will work. So this one has a larger, like open it, a chiseled end, and then on this end it's the finer, like the pointed end. So I'm going to use this end, and I know you see color on there, but that's okay. And if you're worried that it will transfer, just give it a little rub on your paper, and then you just go and color it. And you can also move color around with this, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to go outside of our line. And you can see the blend. And I don't know if you can tell on the video, but this is smoother than this one. And then, so that's using the colorless blender. Get these out of the way. And then another thing you can use is a product called Gamsol. And Gamsol is like an odorless mineral spirits. Now, it still has fumes, and I feel it still has a bit of an odor. But if you've had odorless minerals, just plain odorless mineral spirits to clean paintbrushes or something, you can also use that. For either one, I mean, they've been distilled down enough to where the fumes aren't going to cause most people respiratory distress or do any damage. but there's still fumes and there's still a tinge of an odor. So ventilate your area, open a window. If you have a ceiling fan, turn on the ceiling fan. If you have like a little portable fan, bring it in your craft area and turn it on. That's just what I do. You can also, this is kind of going back to the to these, to the blender pens. You can also use alcohol, just isopropyl, rubbing alcohol. But to me, that smell really gets to me. So, but if you can stand that, you can use that. Just use a paintbrush, or you can use these little things. They're called blending stumps, and they're available in all kinds of sizes: medium, large, fine point. I have a whole bunch of them because I use them for other things as well. But you can apply the alcohol with these, but you can also apply the Gamsol or the odorless mineral spirits. So I'll show you how to do that. It's really easy. I'm just going to color along the top of his hat here. Then we'll add a little bit of the maroon. And then I keep my minerals, the odorless mineral spirits, in this jar. It's an, I think, a pimento jar. If you put whether the Gamsol or the odorless mineral spirits in a jar, make sure it is a jar that will be dedicated to that and only that. Label it, make sure it has a nice tight lid. And if you decide not to use the jar anymore, toss it or clean it out real well and recycle it. But yeah, you don't want anybody drinking out of a cup or a jar that's had this in it, and in the same respect, pouring it in like a canning jar. Well, you don't want that to end up getting in with your canning jars if you're a canner, because you just don't want to. It's just not a good thing. So here this is, and I do pour it in this smaller jar just for convenience, and also I can, put my blending stump in there and then put the lid on. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to dip it in here just a little. As you can see, it got damp, it's got some on it, and honestly, this, even as it dries a little, it still works. And so all you need to do, I'm going to, once again, there's some little yellow on there with the red, just run it on there to clean it off, just on some paper. And then I'm just going to go over my Santa hat. And it really smooths it out. Now, do you see, I don't know if you can see that itty bitty bit of red, but I told you that you can move the color around. I'll show you. Now, I know we don't want Santa's white on his hat to be red or pink, but if you say these were flowers, you can move the color around, just like you do with the color lifters or blender pens for alcohol markers. Now, what I have found is the Gamsol or the odorless mineral spirits work well with all my cheap color pencils and with the Prisma color pencils. This little pen right here seems to work well with all of them. The pencil works fairly well with all of them. The white pencil or the lighter color pencil I found didn't work as well. And just using the alcohol with either a brush or one of these, I didn't think worked as well. but I don't like the smell of alcohol, so that could have had something to do with it. But like I said, the Gamsol or the odorless mineral spirits with one of these worked really well. You could also use a paintbrush if you don't have these. This, I think, is, I mean, the pencil is great because no odor, no mess. This, I think, would be my second choice because everything is contained. You don't have to worry about a jar of something, or have these laying around. So that's just my opinions, but you can try it out and see what you think. But that is what I remembered about using color pencils. And those are the techniques I used on these cards. And like I said, for this cute little reindeer here, I'm going to have to do something with that. But these cards were just very simple to make, and they are square, so they're 4 1/4 inch square in the front. That means they're 8 1/2 by 4 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. And here's Santa with his ho ho ho. Hope you made the nice list and wishing you a magical Christmas season. See, I think this would be a cute card for a kid. Same with this one. Sharing Christmas cheer. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now, on my corresponding blog post, I do have these cards. I have a lot of the same information that I talked to you about in this video, and I have all the supplies listed for these cards. Now, please note, the stamp sets that I use to make these cards are no longer available, but I encourage you to take the ideas, use your own sentiments and images, and turn these cards into cards of your very own. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, stamp happy.